Okay, so today we're going to be looking at this Turbotech manual boost control valve. I purchased it off eBay, so let's have a look at it. This is how it comes packaged, just in a Ziploc baggie, with a piece of paper inside. And the unit itself pre-assembled. Okay, so first thing we notice is it's got two brass barbs. The adjustment screw and the lock nut's already tight. It's got a fairly nice finish on it. Looks pretty good. Looks like it's a deep dark blue, not quite a black. Okay, that's the unit. Now the instructions. Not the clearest printing on there. It tells us instructions. Can't really read this bit at all. It says this MBC, which is short for manual boost controller, comes preset at low boost, which is slightly above what your vehicle is running presently. So Turbotech must be kind of telepathic, because they know what kind of car I drive and they know what boost it runs. So that's pretty cool. Only fine adjustments are required to effect change in boost. Tip: be sure to retighten the lock nut. Down after an adjustment is made. Failure to retighten may result in the assembly becoming insecure due to engine vibration. Okay, so it's got a basic diagram there of how to hook it up. Which way to decrease boost, which way to increase boost. It's pretty basic. So yeah, there it is. First thing I notice is there's no Teflon tape around the threads on the brass barbs, which is something that I suppose it doesn't matter too much on a boost controller, but you know, certainly wouldn't hurt if it was there. These threads are never pressure airtight, so you might experience some whistling or something like that under boost. Not that you're going to have your head under the bonnet, are you? But anyway, so this model features a relief hole in the back there, which hopefully you can see. Okay, so that's because it's a what they call a gated valve, so it has a ball and a spring that only opens up once it's to its preset pressure to let pressure to the wastegate, and once that ball drops, seals this section off, this circuit between the controller and the wastegate. So without a relief, you can have the wastegate stuck open. So that's a good feature, which you wouldn't have if you just bought these components and slapped it together from like a brass fitting company or something like that. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea. As far as sizing goes, the unit total height 82.4 mils. Or 3¼ inches. Total unit width is 50.8, and those of you that know your inches is 2 inches. The barb size out here on the swage is just over 1/4 inch. 7.3 mils. On the body of the barb is 6.3, so we're going to be able to use some 6mm or 1/4 inch tubing on there. The barbs are quite long, 21.8 mils for the barbs, so if you have if you need to put a tight radius on your tubing, you might be better off to replace these with like an elbow instead of a straight barb. But anyway, there's the unit. So I guess now we'll try and mount it in the car and see how it goes. So I'm going to mount that where my old duty solenoid was. So here's the assembly we just removed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this to the existing assembly using these P-clips. So I'm actually going to use these original threads here. I'm going to put a P-clip here like this, P-clip here like this, and that should be sweet, so I don't have to drill any holes or anything. I can pick up the existing mounts. Okay, so here's the unit after I give it a bit of a spray with some flat black. Looks pretty good now. I've also added some Teflon tape to the threads on the barbs. When I took them out, they weren't very tight at all. You can see how much further they're screwed in now, so they'll be nice and sealed and tight. When you take the bottom one out, just be careful that you undo it upwards so that the ball and the spring doesn't fall out. Also, if you're going to paint the valve, make sure you block up the little vent hole. I got some just a little bit of old wiring that fit in the hole tight, just to plug it, because any paint that goes in that hole is going to go straight into the system of the valve. Maybe, you know, jam the spring or whatever, so just take a precaution. Okay, so that's painted. Painted the P-clips as well, so they're nice and black. So let's assemble it now, put it together. Okay, so let's put it in the vehicle and see how it looks. Okay, pick where you're going to feed the wastegate lines through here. Like that. The one that feeds into the bottom opposite the adjustment bolt goes under the compressor housing. And the one that comes off the side of the valve, that feeds the wastegate. And there we have it. That's what she looks like. I think that's pretty neat and tidy. Okay, so let's fire up and go for a drive, see how it goes. And we're going to need to bring a 17mm open spinner and an 8mm hex key to adjust it. So let's go. Okay, so just warmed the car up. This is just the setting that the Turbotech came with. I'm just going to carefully put it into boost and see what the level is. So the car was just with no wastegate controller or boost controller or anything on it. It was boosting at
maximum of 7. So just then I saw it spike to 9. Whoa, yeah, that's way too much. That's way too much. I went to 15 then. So we need to make an adjustment. So I'm not going to stop in the rain. I'm going to go home and pull into my garage and just adjust it. Okay, so we definitely need to make an adjustment because it's set way too strong. So we need to undo that, unlock the adjustment lock nut, like so. And I'm going to try 1.5 turns on the adjuster. See how we go with that. Okay, so this is second test. Bring the boost up slowly again. So we're maxing out there at 5 psi. Oh, 6.5 psi. Okay, so that's obviously just standard wastegate pressure now. So I'm going to whip it around again back into the old garage and make another adjustment and see how we go. Okay, so adjustment time again. This time I'm going to screw it in half a turn. And take it for another run. So this will be third test. I'm gently bringing up to boost again. Okay, we've still only got 7, so I still need to make it a little bit tighter yet. I'd like to have a maximum of 8, just so that I know it's just exceeding the factory boost level. So I'll turn around again and make another adjustment. I think we're getting close. Okay, so this time I'm going to try a 1/4 of a turn tighter. So I think we're almost there. See how we go this time. Okay, so this is the 4th test. Slowly bring it up to boost again. .5. So we're just touching the boost controls capabilities now. It's just starting to work. .5, yeah, so we're just going to give it a final little tickle, just tighten it up a little bit, try and get to around 8. Okay, so I'm just going to tighten it up a tiny little bit more. about that much. We should see a little bit of a rise in boost pressure from that, now that we know that it's on the spring. Let's try that. Okay, so this is test run 5. Slowly bring it up to boost again. Okay, so I'm seeing a pretty constant 7.5 there. So I'm gonna just leave it like that for a week or so, drive it around and see how it behaves. I don't want to creep it up too far and then find out an overboost or something when I rev it a bit. Oh yeah, just hit 8. Just spiked to 8 when I gave it full throttle, so I'm pretty happy with that as it is. Yeah, I'll give it a bit of a road test now and see how it behaves. So I've tested the valve out now for quite a while on the road. I have to say, I'm impressed, it works well. The gated design brings boost on a lot quicker than just having a pressurised wastegate. So I guess it's time to rate it. And the instructions are terrible. Very vague. I guess they count on, if you're buying one of these units, you're going to know what you're doing. Make sure you have a gauge, because if you just fit it the way it's preset, you're going to get goodness knows how much boost. You're most likely going to overboost and do some damage, so be very, very careful. I suggest that you pull the valve apart and seal up the threads on the barbs, because they're not fitted very tight. They're basically finger tight, they're going to leak air. The design of the valve is very good. It's very simple. Sure, you could buy the pieces and make one yourself, but for the price, I think it's just better to go and buy one. It's easy to fit for its size and everything. It fits well. You count on repainting it if you want it to look good. But yeah, so how do I rate it? Well, the instructions are very poor, 2 out of 5 for that. Design, it's a very good design. It's simple, it does what it's supposed to, it works. So 4.5 out of 5 for the design. The operation of it, again, it's great. 4.5 out of 5 for that. Overall, really can't fault it, apart from, you know, the instructions being basic and the initial assembly of it, the way it arrives, is poor. But overall, I'd probably give it a 4.5 out of 5, because it's good. If you're looking for an aftermarket boost controller, then you really can't beat it. The simplicity beats the design of like a, you know, an electronic PWM valve or something. Just, you know, because of the weight and the size and the simplicity of it, the way it works, it's gonna be hard to find a better valve. So yeah, I'd recommend one. I'm very happy with it. So until next time, I guess that's it. Don't forget to share and subscribe. Ciao.